11.
My name is Fred Love. I'm a Democratic state senator, and I have served the people of Arkansas for 16 years in the legislature. I'm also the Democratic nominee for governor, running against Sarah Sanders, who just delivered her State of the State address. I want to step back from what I heard today and talk about what's really happening in Arkansas. There is a growing gap between what the governor says and what Arkansas families are actually experiencing. Arkansas has been served by governors, Republican and Democrat, who understood that this office belongs to the people. Governors who've listened, who've showed up, who have been in the fight. That's not what we see right now. And Arkansas cannot afford this anymore. Let me start with what hits closest to home. That is the cost of getting by. Gas prices are up. Groceries cost more. Young people cannot afford their first home. If you have kids, child care can cost as much as $17,500 a year. And our seniors cannot afford food and transportation at the same time. This is your neighbor. This is your family. This is us. So when I look at what this administration is spending our money on and what it's choosing not to, I must ask, whose side is the governor on? Because while families are struggling, the governor keeps pushing against bipartisan opposition to build a 3,000-bed mega prison in Franklin County that the community doesn't even want. The price tag started at $300 million, then $470 million, then $825 million. Now, independent estimates say it could top $1 billion. $1 billion for a site with no adequate water supply, no nearby workforce, and roads that would cost $500,000 a mile to upgrade. And this isn't just Democrats saying so. Republicans say this project is a scam. Republican senators voted against funding it. Even the House Speaker said last week, it probably won't come up this session. That's because Governor Sanders doesn't have the votes. We may not vote on this prison this session, but that doesn't mean it's not at the top of her priority list. We know it's on the top of her list, just like private school vouchers and homeschool vouchers. The governor's proposed budget asks for over $309 million for the school voucher program, plus another $70 million set aside with no end in sight. Nearly $400 million of public money is flowing away from our public schools. A state-mandated report found that only 12% of students in the program came from public schools. 88% were already in private schools or were homeschooled. We're not expanding opportunities here. We're writing checks to families who already have options. We're doing this while families are suffering and while classrooms that need the assistance are not getting the help. Arkansas already spends less per student than the national average. We have thousands of third graders who are at risk of being held back because they're not on grade level reading. You know, you guys, we're not putting Arkansas children first. Arkansas deserves better. Then, there are the tax cuts. 3 rounds, bringing the top rate from 4.9 to 3.9%. And the governor wants to cut again. Here's the question. What did you get for that tax cut? Because those cuts overwhelmingly benefit the wealthiest Arkansans. And every time we cut the top rate for millionaires and billionaires, it gets harder to fund schools, child care, health care, and services for our seniors. That's the trade-off Republicans don't want you to see. Now, I want to step back because I want to get personal for just one moment. Because when I hear about the struggles facing this state, it isn't abstract to me. My grandmother used to say this always: you're blessed to be a blessing. My grandfather Isaiah was a brick mason and one of the first black men in our community to own land. I grew up on his farm. I had my first surgery when I was 4. My family have suffered through bouts of homelessness. I nearly flunked out of college, but every time something carried me through. My faith, the people around me, and the community that refused to give up on its own. I know what it means to put everything you have into something and pray it's enough. And right now across Arkansas, that's exactly what people are doing. Our farmers are in crisis. Agriculture is Arkansas's #1 industry, more than $24 billion a year. But commodity prices have collapsed. Tariffs have gutted our exports. Rice prices are down 40%, and diesel is up $1.08 over what it was just a month ago. The Agricultural Council says 1 in 3 farms could close. SNAP benefits. SNAP benefits that feed over 235,000 Arkansans face hundreds of millions in cuts. Victims of crime funding have been slashed by more than half. Domestic violence shelters across the state are at the brink of closing. Hotlines are going unanswered. Child care wait lists frozen. And providers are shutting their doors. And then there are mothers. Arkansas has one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the nation. 60% of our rural hospitals don't provide labor delivery. 4 hospitals have closed their maternity units since 2022. Nearly half of our counties are maternity care deserts. And Arkansas is the only state in the country that has not extended Medicaid for new mothers beyond 60 days. Every other state has acted. A bill to do this passed the House 71-10, but it died in Senate committee. 95% of pregnancy-related deaths in Arkansas were found to be preventable. In the legislature, it let the fix die in committee. Somehow Republicans can find the money for tax cuts and benefits to the wealthiest, but they cannot find the money to keep a family farm open in the Delta or domestic violence shelter open, to keep a domestic violence shelter open in Southeast Arkansas. Our governor served the White House. She has relationships at the highest levels. Where is the fight for Arkansas? Arkansas deserves better, and Democrats are fighting for a better Arkansas. Democrats are fighting for your public schools so that there are children in every community set up for success. Democrats are fighting for your health care so that you don't have to choose between going to the doctor and making ends meet, so that moms and babies and seniors are taken care of in this state. Democrats are fighting against the billionaire the $1 billion Franklin County Prison and are fighting for real solutions in education and in the economy that actually makes our communities safer and makes them more prosperous. And Democrats are fighting for a fair budget and a government that measures success by your quality of life, not by headlines. Democrats believe in a better Arkansas, a place where we can bring jobs that are paying a living wage, where our communities come together and take care of one another. From the mothers and fathers who work tirelessly to put food on their tables, to the first responders that give selflessly, to the teachers who go without and spend money out of their own pockets to help our children learn, to the farmers who work from sunup to sundown, to the small business owners who have dreams, to everyday Arkansans who work for a better life for their families. We all deserve better, and together we are going to make it happen. I'm Senator Fred Love. Join me at fredlove.com. God bless you, God bless our National Guard, and God bless this great state of Arkansas. Thank you. Now, here's what I'll do, because we have joint budget. I want to take a few questions, and so what I'll do is Micah, you want to come up and just...
If you would just state your name and outlet, who you're with, that would be great.
Okay, let's go. Who has the first question?
Catherine Lee with THB 11. Talk to me just a little bit about what the governor said about the economy. She brought up a lot of stats about Arkansas being number one. You just brought up some things as well about the economy, so just kind of give me your response.
I think we're looking at two different Arkansas, I truly believe. And so the governor did bring up a lot of stats. I don't know exactly where she got those stats, but I'm talking to the people of Arkansas, and I'm letting you know, when you have hospitals closing, like we just had Camden closed, we had Baptist Health, who shut the maternity wing down. When you have these type of statistics, I'm not sure how you can reconcile this. But the working class Arkansans, we are hurting. And we're asking for relief. And there is relief that can be done, especially through tax cuts. Yes.
Suburban Arkansas advocate. The governor spent a lot of her speech talking about the LEARN Act, all the different facets of it, talking about how well she thinks that policy is doing 3 years in. Meanwhile, as you said, the cost has been going up, and there has always been a little bit of opposition on the Republican side to the LEARN Act as well. Do you think that there might be more pushback this fiscal session against the increase in the cost to the LEARN Act? Do you think you might get anywhere with the Republican side?
Well, I think there is going to be a lot of pushback because that proposal continues to grow, and there are no safeguards. You know, there are things that the funds are being spent on things that are being rejected, and so we have to put safeguards in place so that money is going to the funding of children, definitely to the funding of children. But here's the thing, you all. As I stated, 88% of the kids that benefit from EFAs already had options. Only 12% of kids have taken advantage of this, while we have the bulk of our children, 95%, that are still in public education. We need those funds to actually make every child's education work in Arkansas, not just a few.
Hey, thank you. Brett Raines, 2029 News. Other than no votes, do you have a legislation you're proposing during this fiscal session other than what's been the governor and what's been touted so far? Other than what the governor's proposing in her budget, do you guys are planning to file alternatives? And if so, tell me about those.
As of right now, we do not have a planned proposed budget, but you might see something during the special session.
Yeah, because starting tomorrow morning, we have joint budget committees meeting, and that's where, since it's a fiscal session, a lot of this happens. What do you want people to know?
Well, first of all, I want people to actually watch what is being funded in the budget and what's not being funded. And that's the special, that is key to all Arkansans. Watch what's being funded. You know, they said that the Franklin County Prison will not be in this budget. It's not supposed to be in this budget, but it's supposed to be in the a special session call. So Arkansans, pay attention. Truly pay attention to what is being funded in this budget. Because is it for special interest or is it for the people of Arkansas? Right now, we need to invest in the working class person in Arkansas because that's the person that's feeling the pinch at the pump. That's the person the groceries are getting more and more expensive and you're having to stretch your dollar even more. And so we need to watch what's being funded and watch what's not being funded. I'll take one more question.
LaKyra Banks with 4029 News. One of the things the governor said as she was wrapping up her speech is that the best way to keep our state growing is to protect and preserve our values and way of life. And she listed examples like, quote, no woke indoctrination in schools, no men's and women's sports, no big tech exploiting kids. What would be your response to her saying that those are the fundamentals of Arkansas?
Well, my response would be that you want your hospitals open in your community. That preserves life. And right now, our hospitals are shuttering. The doors of our hospitals are shuttering, you all. And so, when you want to preserve life, let's talk about the quality of life. Those small issues that she mentioned are not what most Arkansans are thinking about. They're thinking about providing for their family. They're thinking about their hospital being open. They're thinking about their schools being open. They're talking about education for their child. And so let's talk about the Arkansas where the everyday Arkansan is being looked at versus special interest. And I can tell you this, when you do that, you will find that more people want you to invest in the hospitals. They want you to invest in the public education. They want you to invest in good paying jobs everywhere throughout the state. And that's what Democrats will be fighting for now. We always fought for that, and we will continue to fight for that. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all.